Hello, Sam.
Yeah. Why are you screaming?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So you commented on my short clip on the Sabbath and offered what you think was a response, correct?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Al-
So
Although there's a bit more backstory to it, is your recommended video, the one on the what was it?
yeah. Can we get to the point, Nathan, please?
Anyway,
Yeah.
Your video about how to deal with others in a Bible study
How did you? Yeah. Okay. That's
was,
probably ago. I don't remember that.
right. It was impactful, and I shared it with others.
Mhm.
And
Sad. I'm sorry.
see, so I had a lot of respect for
It's
you
okay.
based off of that. So
Yeah,
that so
Nathan,
when
it's okay. You don't
so
don't need to respect me. Just what's your position? What do you believe about the
well,
Sabbath?
what would I believe about the Sabbath?
What is you? Are you a Seven-Day Adventist? What are you?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, all right, that's good. You follow the false prophetess Ellen G. White, but we're going to talk about the Sabbath now. When I mentioned,
Actually, before that, based off of that previous video, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and treat you
it's
as a
okay.
brother in
Don't worry
Christ.
about treating me. You're not my brother. I'm not your brother. What did I say? We're not here to talk about niceties. Get to the meat of the matter. I already told you in Skype. No sermons. I don't care what you think about me. So let's get to the point because you didn't understand my point. Because when I said the Sabbath assigned to Israel, you made the foolish mistake of going to Genesis 2 to prove your point. So now I'm going to ask you to articulate what my point was about God's Sabbath and Israel's Sabbath. What was my point? Did you understand? Let's see if you did.
Okay, so are you talking about the point you made in Genesis 2?
Yeah, what was my point talking about the Sabbath of God in distinction to the Sabbath he assigned to Israel? Let's see if you understood it.
Okay, so the main contention I had was regarding
Attention, Nathan. So you're not listening to me. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to repeat myself slowly because I want to be patient. I don't want you to run. I didn't ask your contention. Did you hear what repeat the question I just asked you? Let's see if you understood. Even my question. What was my question right now?
Can you explain to me the point I was trying to make?
Okay, so what was my point when I talked about Genesis 2, the Sabbath of God, and distinction from the Sabbath assigned to Israel? What was the point? I want to see if you got the point.
That the seventh day didn't end.
Yes. And what did I base it on?
You based it off of the seventh day, not mentioning any kind of end in Genesis
Hebrews
2.
chapter 4. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 1 to 11.
Right.
Recite Genesis 2, verses 1 to 3 to show that today, when you believe, you enter God's rest. That was Hebrews 4, verses 1 to 11. So now, what was your objection to my point? Let's see what the objection, because I didn't read your lengthy rant, because I don't read lengthy rants in comment section.
I understand. That's fine.
So I want to know what's your point.
So one was the contention was that there was not only not a mention of an ending on the seventh day, there's also no mention of a beginning.
No, there was no mention of ending. There is a mention of beginning in Genesis 2, verses 1 to 3. Genesis 2, verses 1 to 3. It says, the Sabbath began, but unlike the other days where it says evening and morning, day 1, it does not use the formula evening and morning. And Hebrews 4 tells us that's
not according to what I read here.
Okay, one more time. You just cut me off, Nathan. You're not going to get far. Repeat my point. Let's see. Well, let's see if you're listening to what I just said. What did I just say?
Well, you just said in Genesis 2, 1 to 2, it said in the beginning of the Sabbath, but I don't read anything about that in my version here.
The Sabbath because he rested from his work. Resting from his work means he stopped working, and therefore that's when the Sabbath began. Do I have to break that down to you from read Genesis 2, verses 1 to 3. Read it. And you're perfect.
Yeah, in King James Version, it says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had made.
What day did he end it?
On the seventh day, God had ended his work, which he had made.
Keep finishing.
And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he
Okay.
had made.
So when did he begin resting?
When did he begin resting? On the seventh day.
So why did you just lie and say that it doesn't say that? You just admit it did. You
Sorry,
just
I
said-
don't get what you're
Okay,
arguing.
let me repeat what you said.
You're asking a question about inference rather than what it's actually
No,
saying.
stop stuttering. You just said, just like it says there's no ending, there is no beginning. But you just admit from your reading, when I asked you, when did he rest from his work? When did he rest?
He rested on the seventh day.
So when did his day of rest begin?
His day of rest began on the seventh day.
So you just confirmed it did have a beginning. Now show me where it ends. Show me what
by the other verses I provided for you.
No, there is no other, because Hebrews 4 says you don't know what you're talking about. Hebrews 4, verses 1 to 11.
Well, here, allow me to provide my references.
Yeah, well, no, before you go to your references, the Bible doesn't contradict. None of your
I know it doesn't contradict.
So Nathan, go to Hebrews 4, verses 1 to 11.
Okay,
And I want you to
Hebrews
tell me what the inspired author in Hebrews states about that day of God. Did it end when he wrote?
4.
1 to 11. Read it for me.
Okay. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his works. So, sorry, where did you want me to stop?
All the way to 11. But did you get the point he made thus far?
I get the point he made, absolutely, but I don't agree with your interpretation.
I do not care what you agree with me. I want to see how you're going to butcher this text. So, when he quotes Psalm 95, 7 to 11, written long after Moses wrote Genesis 2, Psalm 95, because he's referencing Psalm 95. And he says, I swore in my wrath, they will not enter my rest. Did you see that the author of Hebrews said that same rest is what's referred to in Genesis 2? Or do you want to read it? Because I don't think you got it.
No, well, that's my contention. I'm saying I don't
care what your contention is. What did the author of Hebrews do? Did he connect the rest of Psalm 95 with Genesis 2? I don't care your interpretation. I want to know what the text
Yes and no. The reason.
Reread it.
Yes. Okay.
Reread it again.
So Hebrews 4.
Verses 1. Way down.
Verse 1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Keep going. Don't stop.
For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, though the works were finished from the foundation of the world.
When was his works finished?
From the foundation of the world. And
so he's connecting my rest, meaning God's rest, with the works being finished from the foundation of the world, correct? Without interpretation.
Yes.
Okay, now read the rest of it. Because now notice what he quotes.
Okay.
Keep reading.
Sorry, where
you stopped
in
off,
verse 4?
Yeah, where you stopped off, keep reading.
Okay. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his works.
Keep going.
And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not into it because of unbelief.
Keep reading.
Again, he limiteth a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Jesus had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day?
Mm.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God, for he that entereth into his rest and hath also ceased from his own works, as God did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall under the same example of unbelief.
What do you
now actually, before there's one thing I forgot to do right at the beginning, since we're studying the word. Can we first start with prayer to ask that God would guide?
I don't accept that you have the same understanding of God that I do. So keep your prayer in your heart.
But then can I ask that you
I already prayed.
Start with prayer.
I already did. So now,
but with me present.
Okay, Nathan, you want me to get you out of here? Stop these games. Stick with the text.
No, this is not a game. This is non-negotiable.
Nathan, stop preaching, dude. I'm not.
This is not a preaching. This is
Okay,
how I lead my Bible studies. If
I want to give you one more
God
chance.
is not invited into it,
Can you go to the text and explain to me what you just read? Break it down for me. I'm not your friend, dude.
That's
I'm
fine.
not your friend. We're not here to have patty cake. I want you to prove your understanding. Can you go to the text?
Will you start us off in prayer?
Okay. What should I do with this guy? Should I get him out of here? Because you see, he's a joke. He's another joke. He follows this spiritual whore, this false prophetess, Ellen G. White. You see, he doesn't want to deal with the text. Now, I'm doing it for you guys because these guys are clowns. I don't respect them. You want me to give him another chance? It's up to you guys. Did I give him another chance? Right? It's up to you guys. Because the guy doesn't want to go to the text. He wants to find reasons to run. This is what happens when you follow a Jezebel whore, false prophetess named Ellen G. White. Okay, I'm going to give him one more chance. Now, Nathan, I'm going to give you one more chance. Change the subject. I'm going to get you the hell out of here. Go to the text, exegete it. I don't care about how you feel. We've already prayed. Name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. The God I serve, you don't accept. So get to the text, Nathan. I told you in Skype, don't play these games with me. Get to the text. Exegete the text.
Okay. Thank you. I heard your prayer. Amen.
Okay. Well, you can't amen. You don't believe the sign of the cross, right? Do you do the sign of the cross?
No.
Okay. So then why are you amening something you don't agree with? This is why I didn't want to pray for you. Now, get to the text, break down what you read. I want to see if you understood what you're, because you just wasted 5 minutes of our time.
Okay. So which text do you want me to get to?
You're kidding me, right?
No, I'm not. Which specific one?
You're kidding me, right? We just spent the last 15 minutes on Hebrews 4, verses 1 to 11, to show how the author understood the seventh day of God. And you're asking me which text? The one you just read. Can you now explain to me?
Okay. Yeah.
Explain it to me, because you denied that the Sabbath had a beginning, but then you admitted it did. And I told you that God's Sabbath has no end as yet. And I said, I got that from Hebrews 4. Did you connect that in Hebrews 4, that the author is saying that God's Sabbath was still ongoing, even at the time of Psalm 95? Did you get it, or do you have to read it again?
Rest, not Sabbath.
He connected it with Genesis 2, where God says that he rested and he blessed the seventh day. And that's where we get the Sabbath. Do you see that in the text? It's in the text.
Yes, I see what you're talking about in the text, but rest is similar to the word Sabbath, but they're not the same word.
No, Nathan, that's not what he did. He connected it with Genesis 2, where we get Sabbath. He did, not me.
Yes, I know. I absolutely
so
see
he's telling you that's the rest
that
God is talking about. Reread it.
Yes, he is talking about, but the rest you find is within the Sabbath.
So you agree with me then? My rest is the rest that started at the Sabbath, because that's what he just said.
The rest that God is talking about in its full form is found within the actual seventh-day Sabbath. Now, you can still get...
What Sabbath?
The seventh-day Sabbath.
Okay, whose seventh-day Sabbath? What did he quote?
God's seventh-day Sabbath, as we can read very clearly in Exodus 20.
No, you're butchering Exodus 20, because it's going to backfire against you. Just don't jump to Exodus 20. I'm going to get there.
Okay.
What day do you enter God's Sabbath according to Hebrews 4? You just read it. When do I enter God's Sabbath according to Hebrews 4? Hebrews 4, not me.
I just want to be very specific. Enter God's rest or enter God's Sabbath?
The rest is the Sabbath. He just
See,
equated.
that's my contention. That is my contention.
Brother, I'm going to send you out of here, because why did God call the seventh day the Sabbath? Because that's when he rested, because the word Shabbat can also mean to stop, to rest, right? Lexically.
Well, even before that, in your video, you're talking about Sabbaths plural and the Sabbath.
You see why I'm wasting my time with this guy? He won't deal with the text. I'm going to give you another chance. In Hebrews 4, verses 1 to 6, you read all the 11. Do you see the author equated my rest, when he quotes God, Psalm 95, where he says my rest, with Sabbath of Genesis 2? Because he says that he finished his work from the beginning, and he quotes Genesis 2 to show you that when God says my rest, it's referring to that Sabbath. That's what Hebrews 4 did, not me.
Connected, not equated.
Reread it again. I'm going to give you a final chance because we're wasting time. Reread it again.
Okay.
Hebrews 4,
where's verse 6?
Verses 1 to 6.
1 to 6. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was this gospel preached, as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed unto do enter into rest. As he said, as I have sworn in my wrath.
Wait. Pause it, because I want you to understand grammar. As he said, what? As he what? Read that.
As he said,
yeah.
As I have sworn in my wrath,
yes,
if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world.
Bam, hold on. He just equated grammatically. He just equated my rest from the rest that God entered in when he finished his works. That's the Sabbath of Genesis 2. He just did in front of you, and you keep telling me no.
If they shall enter into my rest, although the works is finished from the foundation of the world.
And then what does he quote?
I agree that
what does he quote?
His rest was, sorry?
And what does he quote right after that? Show that the rest he's talking about is the Sabbath of Genesis 2.
For he spake in a certain place of the Sabbath in this wise, and God did rest.
Did you catch it, brother? Did you catch it? I mean, grammatically, I can bring my 9-year-old to see that he just identified the rest as the Sabbath of Genesis 2. It's not simply that the rest is included within the Sabbath. That rest is the Sabbath of God that started in Genesis 2. He just did. I didn't do it. Hebrews 4.
Where you're using words equate and is, where I agree it connects. Absolutely.
No, it is synonymous. God's rest is a Sabbath. That's what he did. I didn't do it. He just did it for you, man. I mean,
he didn't, though. That is what you're getting from it.
It's just your Sabbath today, right? Go to church, light a candle to Ellen G. White. Oh, I forget. You believe in soul sleep, so she can't hear you. You're wasting my time, buddy. So why don't you go, buddy? I'm trying to be nice to you. You're not ready for this discussion.
This is not nice.
Huh?
This isn't even kind.
Why would I need to
Why would you be? I mean, even an infant.
Are you sure?
This is what we're told.
No, you're not. No, Acts 13.
We're going through the list of
Acts
how
13,
you take it before.
You're preaching to me. Acts 13, 6 to 12.
Preaching to me? Well, you're doing the same thing to me.
6. Now you're talking over me. You're talking over me.
And you were talking over me.
Shut up. Get the hell out of here.